they they were very commercial and very commercially successful, and so that always. Yeah, no, they had huge hits. The one that always goes through my head is, um, what is it? It's 25 or 6 to
It's
and the one that, and they always, people thought it was a drug reference, and people thought, and
no,
he wrote it about writer's block, about, he's I'm a writer. It's 3 a.m. I have to write, and if you listen to the lyrics, it's literally, it's the break of day, it's the, and you're
yeah, he's
fighting against
staring at
it.
the clock.
He's staring at the clock. It's a deadline, and he has a song to write, because that's what you do when you're a working musician. That's your job now, is writing
Yeah.
songs, and he did. He cranked out a hit, and so yeah, no, yeah, no, but no, I like Chicago. What? Yeah, no. So what else is good, or what else is not so good? What are you?
So
What?
actually, that reminded me of something. It came up on Instagram, I think. I don't know from where, but it was a quote from Alice Cooper,
Uh huh.
who said, "I Want to Hold Your Hand" is a much, much harder song to write than Bohemian Rhapsody. He
Yes.
said, because
Yeah, yeah,
he
yeah.
said you can't to write a song with three chords that
Yeah.
you will never forget the first time you
Yeah.
hear it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he said,
Uh,
I still think they're just aliens
right.
about the Beatles. No, that was a very interesting compliment. It
No,
was,
yeah, no, but no, definitely. And I have always, and again, my favorite, my preferred genre is always punk rock, which is stripped down, 3 chords. I mean, they even, the bands make jokes like learned a fourth chord, but really it's the same. You do a lot with a little. You do a lot with the
yeah,
same, And so, yeah, I think I agree that a song like, but so Bohemian Rhapsody, the other members of Queen, it was known as Freddie's song for a very long time. It was just kind of like his thing that he was working on,
yeah,
and it wasn't especially special to them. You have to realize this was on their 10th album. They had already done operatic, they had already done symphonic, this was not, this was just, to them, it was kind of a rehash. The other members, and then it all came together. It was, but when he was working on it, it was just kind of another Freddie noodly. Okay, it's kind of 4 parts of different songs he's trying to force together. Is this going to work? The other band members weren't convinced about Bohemian Rhapsody until it was Bohemian Rhapsody, and it is. I mean, it even among you hear them having experimented that, but it is sort of the pinnacle of that Queen, that era, and of them doing that. But it wasn't until it was. It was just a. It was. But
yeah. That's very interesting. Yeah, it was more experimental
yeah, yeah,
until
yeah,
it became uh, so identified, I guess.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
what's? Yeah.
okay,
Go ahead.
you don't have to watch the World Cup.
Yes.
The score is going to be Spain 2, Argentina 1.
Is that your? That's okay.
I know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I know it.
Okay.
We're going to see the Odyssey
Okay.
instead of watching the World Cup. Um,
Yeah. And
we don't
is
want
that
to
today?
join Donald Trump and Mamdani at Shea Stadium or wherever it is.
Is that today in New York? It's the fine. It's
It's at
the.
3 o'clock now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's Spain. It's Spain versus a racist Argentina. So
Is that
uh,
okay? All right. Is
oh
that?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, no. Argentinian fans have surrounded black
Yeah.
players and
Yeah. Yeah.
screamed at
No.
them.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So we're very much. I mean,
I mean, it's okay. To me, well, sports fans are sports fans. People are people. The world is the world. Unfortunately, no. And no, it's not. No, I'm sorry. It's not sports fans or sports fans. Period. It's sports organizations allow it, either explicitly or implicitly. They don't do enough to prevent it. But also, I'm torn because it's, yeah, I mean, the in Mexico, they shouted homophobic slurs and were sort of sanctioned, or at least, warned. But at the same time, there's this whole thing with Mexico and South Korea, where at the last World Cup, where I think after South Korea got kicked out. Those fans started rooting for Mexico. They were supposed to play each other, but then something happened. I don't know. In any event, there are these just interesting stories around camaraderie. Like again, I'm not watching any of it, but I as an observer of what it means to people, even just seeing, I mean, I go to a lot of punk shows. It's very alternate culture where people, every band is very explicit about their politics in there, but at the same time, it's interesting. I guess everyone's watching the World Cup. I'm not, but yeah, no. So Argentina, Spain. I did happen to be just where here in Seattle is the downtown area. It was much more packed. Obviously, when Seattle was one of the host cities, we're not hosting any more games,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
when the U.S. was still in the games. But I happened to be downtown just as Argentina beat England, and people were, at least here, the crowds were very excited for that. Oh, and then the Odyssey. I don't know. Well, I guess you're seeing it. You're not seeing it at one of the only. There are only 26 theaters that are to Christopher Nolan's. The IMAX. It was shot.
Yeah, we try. I mean,
Oh,
we're
okay.
too far in the
Yeah,
boonies
yeah, yeah. No,
to
well,
get. If we
it's
were in the city, we'd probably
yes, yeah.
get IMAX tickets. But
The last IMAX I saw was Oppenheimer, and I didn't. It confirmed the only thing. The first IMAX I ever saw was a Rolling Stones concert. It was you got me tickets to that somehow. It was through your
yeah.
connection. It was like an industry screening. It wasn't a public
Oh,
thing,
okay.
and it was like new. IMAX was very new then, and just sort of how big their faces were, how you could see poor, and like it was,
Oh,
and then
dear. Yeah.
that was just sort of confirmed with Oppenheimer. Like I don't think I personally need a screen that big, or at least if you are going to get IMAX, be sure you arrive early so you don't have to sit up front. Most people know to sit not too close, but the two times I've done IMAX, I was very close, and it's very, I don't know. I'm over it. It's not my thing. But he shot it in IMAX. He's very devoted, and I do think this is interesting when filmmakers can drive the industry, can drive the technical side of the industry. Camera lens companies makes lenses for cameras to meet his specifications because he's making the Odyssey. And that's all interesting to me. And I do think that's I think it is an industry. The technology is a part of it. It is about art, but it's also commerce, and I don't know. Yeah, and something like the Odyssey seems to be very obviously about both.
But that's interesting because you mentioned that the lens makers will, make or adapt a lens for the
Yeah.
movie, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So, but it works also what we don't see unless we're in the business
Yes.
is that whoever that lens maker is
Yes.
in their business, they're getting huge publicity
Uh
out of
huh.
being the
Oh.
lens maker
Yes. Oh yeah. 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 Yes.
for a
Yes.
movie that's successful in the same
Yes.
way that years ago was explained to me when the artist Christo did a valley curtain or covered, whatever he covered his
Yes.
buildings with, right? Or
Yes.
islands.
Yes.
Um, his friend and mine, David Bourdon, would inevitably, there'd be 3 or 4 pages in Life magazine, which were, big color
Yes.
pages, right?
Yes.
Now, the material that Christo
Yes.
used, which nobody in the art world cared about, right? Or paid any
Sure.
attention
Sure.
to,
Sure.
was donated to him by companies,
Yes. Yeah.
and they got a huge amount of free publicity
Yes.
in their business world because it was in Life magazine. They're not
Yes.
selling it to the public, so it didn't matter whether the name was used or not. But it mattered to them
Yes.
because they're competing with other, I don't know whether it was rubber or
Right. No. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's very interesting that I remember seeing. Okay, so I was alive for Cinerama. Cinerama was the first iteration after color
Oh
of
yeah. Oh yes.
a
Actual Cinerama. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
of a bigger screen.
Yes.
And there was one theater in London that was called Cinerama, right?
Right. 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 Right.
I don't honestly remember it being spectacularly different.
Right.
Then there was VistaVision,
Yes.
which was narrow in the middle and wide on the sides.
Yeah. 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 Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yes.
know, and
Yes. Right.
I don't think I went out of my way to go to see a movie in VistaVision
Right. No. Right.
rather than not.
Right.
So I'm trying to think. No,
But what about Technicolor? I mean, I think there was
well,
an
Technicolor, yes,
I think there was a whole era or decade or more where there was, color was hit or miss, but Technicolor became the brand name because people
well,
trusted it.
Technicolor was a brand, yes, but I don't remember there being other names.
Yeah,
I
no,
guess,
yeah.
um, I guess for Americans, it happened in The Wizard
Uh
of Oz, right?
yes, right, right, no, right, yes.
But
Yeah, yeah.
I don't that. I mean, I didn't see The Wizard of Oz when I was a kid, so I remember seeing a Western. I remember seeing a Western in color. It may have been the first color
Right.
although I think probably the first color I saw were cartoons
Yes, no, for sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
on the
yes.
movie theater on
Yes.
Saturday mornings.
Yes.
Something like that.
Yes.
Um, so so I was roped into watching an interesting film last night I wouldn't have otherwise watched,
Uh-huh.
called something like Remarkably Colored Creatures. It takes place in Bellingham,
Uh-huh.
and it takes place around an aquarium in Bellingham,
Uh-huh.
and the main character is Sally Field, who's a cleaner at the aquarium, and the semi-narrator of the movie is an octopus in a tank
Huh.
played
Okay.
by Alfred Molina.
Okay. Yeah, no, I like it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And there's a kid. The kid. It's what's his name? Bill. Anyway, the kid in it is the son of Bill Pullman. Bill, do you know
Yeah,
Bill Pullman?
yeah,
His
yeah, yeah, yeah.
son is in
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
He's
Oh,
very good.
the actual actor's son.
Yes, yes,
Oh, huh.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Huh.
Who has a band that has already broken up. But no, it's kind of interesting. I mean, it's
Yeah,
actually very good, and,
yeah.
and and a bit different, quirky in a not really in an avant-garde way, but it worked
Sure,
strangely.
sure.
I don't know how they got the octopus. I guess there's AI octopus, but
CG. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
uh, so you sent me that thing about the Seattle Art Fair. Is that this weekend
No,
or?
I don't know when it's coming up, but yeah,
Oh,
no, I don't know. Yeah, I just it was an on-screen or an online preview, and it literally is just I'm like, and to a certain extent, I'm like, I've actually seen these works. Like some people just bring the same artworks year after year. It seems.
they
Uh,
do?
it
Yeah.
seems I don't know, or
But the
very
same artists,
maybe the
or
same
this,
well, the same artist, but not even changing their style. Not, I don't know. Well, I don't know. It feels very stagnant to me now. I would say they're now in their 10th year, and it feels I know
oh, that's
exactly
interesting.
exactly what to expect. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, maybe that's
Well,
just me.
it actually it interested me because I have a subscription to Artsy, which I think was the platform
Yeah,
that
yeah.
yours was on. So I could scroll some of the some of what the galleries were
Uh
bringing,
huh.
and it was priced, and I don't have
Oh,
anything to relate it to
yes,
from year to year to year.
yes.
But um, what it made me realize,
Right.
because a lot of the pricing is even from $200, $500,
Yes,
$4,000,
yes.
um, uh, is that unbeknownst to anybody outside of the business, that more than 80% of the $60 billion spent on art per year globally
Right.
is in that category.
Yes. Yeah.
In other
Yes. No.
words,
Yes.
in other words,
Yes.
the number of people buying paintings or works of
Yes.
art or prints,
Yes.
spending, well, for want of a better word, affordable amounts of money.
Yes.
I mean, affordable to people who are not millionaires, right?
Right. No. Right.
Affordable to people who have some disposable income.
Yes.
That adds up to much, 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 much more
Right.
than the people who are buying paintings and spending $100 million.
Yes. No. Yes. Yes.
But they don't get any headlines, right?
Right.
But
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
who is wasting their money? I mean, I don't actually, even though I can say, well, you can say, I don't find these paintings very exciting, or
Right.
they're maybe not far removed from hotel art.
Right. But
But there are actually people who go to visit, to go on holiday, and then they
yes.
want to
Yes.
buy the paintings that
Yes.
they see in the hotels.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I shouldn't be disparaging about
Right.
that if they
Which
like it.
first of all, you now can. Like, first of all, like, you walk into the hotel and there's literally, like, you can almost buy everything if you like the hair dryer, if you from the hotel,
Okay,
like, from the hotel, like, not even just, like, you don't have to go, like you order it. But no, like, there's that. No, I'm curious, though, when you say, I have a few things. I'm curious. I always have a few things. But I'm curious, are these people buying primarily original art, inexpensive
yes.
original art? Okay, and we're talking about original art. We're not talking
But
about
I'm talking
reproduction. We're
about
not
the
talking about
art fair,
posters. Yes.
things that people
Yep.
take to those art fairs. They're small galleries or small town galleries.
Hmm.
They're local artists.
Yep.
They're
Yep.
prints, they're in editions or
Yep.
ceramics. They're
Yep.
unique, and
Yep.
some are better than others, and almost
Mhm.
all of them are derivative of something or other. But the people are now, although I doubt it is, if it is, I doubt if investment is the driving
Right.
force
Oh,
in most of those purchases.
but no.
That
Yeah. No.
they
Yes.
hope maybe the painting
Yes.
will go up
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
value.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yes, that's
Yes.
fine. But they're spending that money, to them, has bought them something they are going to use,
No, but
take
I
home, and
yes, I people, and I can speak to this because I'm yeah no people who are like decorating their first home or for they I think obviously they're choosing something they want to look at every day, but also I think especially if they're choosing to go to an art fair, they're choosing to buy original art over a reproduction, a famous reproduction,
yeah, yeah, a
what they're
poster.
what they I don't think it's necessarily an investment, an economic investment, but they are saying I am I am. It's aspirational. I
Yes,
believe in art. I support art.
yes,
I
yes,
support
yes.
the arts, and that's and so I think that's really, and especially with young people, supporting an artist, supporting even a digital artist. I think is very real and important, but not necessarily the expectation when you get a one of a kind that it's going to go up in value. That yeah, I don't think that that's
Not
the
if you're
primary drive.
paying 2 or 3 grand for it. I don't
Right.
think,
Yeah.
but it's in a different, you know, it's actually a more, uh, I mean, it's more actually of a transaction based on pleasure and taste than it
Yes.
is on you know. I mean, there are people who can spend $50 million as if it was someone else's 4,000,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
they're still aware
Right.
that that they certainly don't want to spend that on something which will be worth nothing the next day.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe they realize it may take a long time before it's going to be worth more than that,
Right.
but they can boast about the fact that they're so rich they can afford it. I mean, there's so many other aspects to that. But but the price tag doesn't have doesn't play an important role in the reason why it was bought.
Yes.
It plays a role in why they could afford it, but
Yes.
it's not why they bought it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's interesting. I mean, it's a pity that there's not better quality overall, but I mean, because there are a lot of artists who are pretty good artists, and they don't sell for a lot of money, but I don't know. Uh,
I I saw a gallery do something, and I haven't seen, and I don't. I feel like I don't see this enough, at least. Basically, it was one night only, no works over $200, no reserves, no red tags. Like take it, right, buy it, and take it home right off the wall until the walls are bare. And and they did, and they sold
that's a
out,
good idea.
yeah. And it was very populous. They advertised in places that weren't necessarily, the kind of same places you see like a punk flyer, or like not necessarily,
Yeah. So
I
who are the artists? I mean, the
just, I
artists
mean,
must
they were local artists, and they, and also on that end, I think they opened it up. These were not necessarily even people who have had, I think some of them, this was their first group show,
Yeah,
or their,
yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
yeah.
Also, the other thing it made me realize is that while obviously in that narrow slice of the art market that I guess I spent most of my life in, most of the artists are they're global, right?
Uh-huh.
Whether it's Warhol or Picasso, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, but in many countries, there are artists
Yes.
of that country
Yes.
that, I mean, for instance, when I was in Seoul 2 years ago, I went to an exhibition at the new museum there
Uh-huh.
of a Korean artist. I had never heard of him at all.
Yes.
And he died at the age of 40 in
Hmm.
1956.
Hmm.
He had married, I mean, he basically did everything wrong. In the middle of the Korean War, he married a Japanese woman. She lived with his kids. No, I mean,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
he
yeah,
literally he ended up in exile with no money,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
and he he made these primarily because he smoked a lot, and
Uh-huh.
cigarettes came in those with those foil.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
So he made these drawings on
Yes.
cigarette foil.
Yeah.
Right? The Koreans spend $1, $2, $3 million for these now,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
right? I mean, they're no because
Uh-huh.
they're no none of. I mean, they're very few.
Right. No,
He's
right,
highly
right, yes.
revered,
How,
right?
how did he go, but how did he go from exile to revered in that country?
Well, because I think after the Korean War, um, there was a need to, in Korea, as Korea was putting itself back together again,
Yes.
there was a need to rebuild, to find cultural
Yes,
heroes,
absolutely.
right?
Yeah. Yeah,
And the
yeah.
story was,
Yeah.
I mean, he also there was no money to buy art, even if people had.
Sure. Sure.
So a combination of things. It's a good question, but a combination
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
things. And I mean, there are other artists in other. There's one in Indonesia who I when I started going to Jakarta, and um, a pretty good abstract artist, but one that who's if you put their work side by side with others of the same period, you'd say this is okay. But he was the only one. He's the only Indonesian to work like that, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Yeah.
they make a hero out of him, which doesn't mean to say it's not worth that. It's just that the value consists of the venue, the place,
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
I
No,
mean,
absolutely.
yeah,
No, and for me, the corollary is music. When growing up in New York, many of the bands that I loved, everyone knows who the Ramones are. Everyone knows who. But moving to New Mexico, there are these bands, and outside of literally just either the town or at least the region if they toured regionally, who are, but to me, incredible and like world class level musicians. And this is true. I mean, I've gone to St. Andrews on a Tuesday, and there's a band playing there that to me, and they're local heroes. People, everyone knows them, but they're, for whatever reason, their ambition is not to be beyond that. The machinations of the industry or the internet or algorithms just has not won their favor, and there are just too many bands. I saw a band from Missoula, Montana this week that they're doing amazing things in punk bands, and I wouldn't have known. But yeah, and I think it's no, that's always really interesting to me. But and I think wherever.
is it luck or ambition or
um
what is it?
Well, both, and yes, I think some people. I've seen bands move multiple times until they find it. So if you're just kind of content to stay where you are, then and be local heroes, that's great. But I think oftentimes bands have to move, and you don't want to do that, or you're not going to give up you're not going to quite make
In
that
other
jump.
words, are you prepared to go from a suburb of Detroit to LA and try and get a gig at the Whiskey A Go Go or something?
And I've seen it.
That you might make it, but if you stay in Detroit, in the suburb of Detroit, you're still the same great band.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the whole, big fish, small pond. Yeah, no, all of that. And I've seen it. And I've seen bands go and try and make it and come back. I've seen all of it. But yeah, no. But no, to me, the fascinating part is how beloved, like everyone, people have tattoos, and then literally outside of this, and we're not talking about another country or language barriers. We're just a part of a part of the United States outside of a very small area. No one's heard of them. I mean, it's and it's because they have their own favorites. They have their own beloved. They have there's no more room for, I guess I don't know. Um,
Yeah, yeah, that's fascinating. I think, yeah, I think you have to be very savvy. It's funny. Again, I saw a clip. It was out of the blue of um, the very, very, very young blonde Roy Orbison
Yes.
singing "Only the Lonely" on TV.
Yeah.
He looked like Danny Kaye, actually. He didn't look like Roy Orbison. He looked
Yeah.
more like
Yeah.
Danny
Yeah.
Kaye.
Yeah.
And he's kind of grinning, like a stupid grin,
Huh.
too. But
Huh.
his sound was
Yeah.
exactly.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I know the guy who he wrote with, or who
Uh huh.
wrote a lot of songs with him, just died. He was
Oh.
not a big name, but
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
very well known in the business, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
he helped him write a lot of the songs.
Yeah.
But the story was that when that came out, only came out, Elvis bought and gave everybody. He bought the record and gave it to everybody he knew. I
Ha.
mean, he was like
Right.
very taken with it, or
Yes.
which is a side of him I wouldn't have thought. But what do you know about somebody in terms of generosity or no? But I mean, that's
Yeah.
he wasn't much further along than Roy
Right. No.
Orbison,
Right.
right?
Right.
I
Right.
mean,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
same, very much the same generation, and you could say
Absolutely.
rivals to some degree.
Right. No. Right. 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 Right.
Um, yeah, but it's fascinating to me, actually, sort of years after the fact, to learn the degree to which musicians worked with each other or for each other, and some of them were very highly revered, even if the public didn't know who they were. Among their
Absolutely.
circles, they
Yes.
were highly,
No.
highly revered.
Yes.
Um, and it didn't necessarily have to do with Billboard 100
Sure. Yeah.
in the business. Like, um, oh, I know what it was. It was not Randy Newman. Who is the very diminutive piano player who wrote great
I'm
songs?
thinking Elton John, but not Elton
No,
John.
no, small American,
Oh.
blonde.
Oh. Oh.
You know who I mean.
Yes, I do. Um. Oh,
It'll
Dad.
come. You know who I mean. Anyway,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
he apparently he. There was a tribute to Herb Alpert,
Right. Okay.
and he said, and he was the one who was like, he's the one that gave him the trophy or whatever it was.
Right.
And he said, my career is entirely because of Herb Alpert. It's like, and I wouldn't have
Huh.
put the two
Yeah.
names in the same place, right?
Right. No. Right. Sure.
I
Sure.
mean,
Sure.
I
Sure.
admire both
I.
of them, but
Yeah. 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 No, I actually this okay. So two things there. One, it is infuriating to me because I peruse I peruse the musicians wanted classifieds from time to time. I don't ever take action, but I just to see what people are doing and what kind of things people always list. And to me, it's. I don't know if they're trying to be hipster, but like a series of, to me, relatively obscure, and whether I've heard of them or not, whether I like them or not, isn't the point. It's just, I think one's influence is an extremely bad indicator of what your style is, what you. I don't know. In any event, I wish people would choose something other than here are my influence. I understand why it's a shorthand, but it's I don't know. I
you
people
mean
who
they're saying, are they implying this is what my music is like? Or,
I get yes, and oftentimes when they actually have an example, they've made it far along that they've recorded something. It isn't. I mean, what they think the Ramones. Speaking of the Ramones, they thought they were the Bay City Rollers. They thought that they were bubblegum. They didn't. They didn't realize that they were burning through 20 songs in 13 minutes. Like they thought they were. So
Really? That's true.
Well, at least early on. No, I mean at some point but yeah, no, they were their goal was to be a pop band, and they fell into this very fast style of so at least allegedly, every
it's better
story.
to go that direction than the other direction. Right?
Well, right, yeah.
Oh, that's very funny. That's yeah. The Bay City Rollers, they were just so trashed. I mean, so was Three Dog Night.
I know I like Three Dog Night, but I also understand. And again, it's almost, I think parts of it are, if you write songs too well, it almost feels like it's by formula. It's not. I mean, I think the same thing is true. There are people who are very technical painters, and it's very realistic. But does it have any heart or soul? Which is what people are actually looking for? Does it have any grit? Does it have any? I don't know.
I may be just making this up, but I think that one of the things that alienated New Yorkers from Three Dog Night was before they even had a hit, there was a huge billboard of them in Times Square.
Oh.
And that was like, who are these guys?
Yeah.
They're fake Stones or fake Beatles,
Yes.
or we've never heard of them. So,
Yes.
so in other words, the marketing money was out there. And maybe it was just bad timing. I don't know.
Yeah. There's this we've talked about Nepo babies, and now there's all this talk about sort of industry plants and accusing artists of being an industry plant. And I think there's very specific things, like when your father is Quincy Jones, for instance. I mean, it's hard to not say you're not an industry plant. But I think people are using it to just describe sort of any band that has industry backing, but then that's just the music industry. I mean, it's just, yes, when you see a billboard or when you see an ad in a sort of like when you see a for your Grammy consideration, yeah, that's the music. You're seeing the machinations of the music industry, but it exists for all artists. It's not like a select few get that. I mean, the ones who are better at it, or hide the seams better, or seem more authentic, or again in the types of music I listen to, grittier and wear more eyeliner, but they still have an A&R guy. They still have an agent. You know what I'm saying? Like, they still have someone who books their tours for them, usually when they reach a certain level. They're not all of them, not so people are picking and choosing and accusing certain artists who they see, and I get it. There's this artist Youngblood, and it's spelled Blood. So okay, he's right off the bat he's misspelled his name. He's kind of got a look that either you like or you don't. I get it, but
it's a business. It's a business.
It's all a business. It's all a business. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Somebody said that. I don't know who it was. I want to say Hugh Jackman, but I think it was somebody long before him.
Yeah.
Who said there's a reason we call it show business.
Yes. Yeah. No, exactly.
I remember the first times I used to go out to California to LA and drive from LAX into downtown LA. And every time I'd see a huge billboard with somebody on it, often a female singer.
Right.
I had never heard of.
Right.
And actually never did ever hear of.
Yes. Yeah. Right. But no. Yes. No, I'm sorry. Go on. Yes.
No, but I mean, they're famous for doing that. And,
Yeah. And people drive by those and go, who are they? But I like, Hardly Art is the name of a record label. They're a subsidiary of Sub Pop, which is sort of Seattle's big record label that, because of their association with grunge, people have heard of, but they themselves are, I think, distributed through Warner. So it's sort of, these trickles of the major of the industry. But the bands on Hardly Art, if they've made it, they get a billboard, and then they all go to the billboard and they pose in front of the billboard, and then they post that picture, and they're very proud of that billboard. It's true. That billboard will only be there for a week, and they just blew their whole ad budget for that their record on that billboard that maybe, that most people will drive by and go, who what? But that's a big deal to them. That's their moment, And so
Well, if they can Instagram it, I guess it's worth it, right? Nowadays, the billboards are uh, electronic, I guess, so it's not as
yeah.
if someone's had to spend 2 weeks painting their faces.
Yeah, no, exactly, yeah. A couple thoughts. One, a guy who did the guy who was the creator and host of MTV's 120 Minutes, which was their sort of alternative show. He just died this week, and just in his obituary, just his in his how important it was to him that he was a tastemaker, that he had and he did. I mean, for the 80s and 90s, if you think of what alternative music and what became grunge and all of that, he really shaped popular music. I mean, he, all the 80s glam rock guys have him to blame that they all had to cut their hair and start wearing eyeliner because he just shifted but no, and I'm tying that in with a band that I love and I discovered went from like playing, I'm feeling like literally their first or second show, to selling out venues here in Seattle, to now being invited on tour with all within a relative, like their lead singer is I think just turning 18. I mean, this happens. It's not, but I'm proud of myself that I called it. I was like, oh, they're good. Just the moment you see something and you're like, I just have a feeling about them. Again, there's no element of industry plant, but I'm already hearing just in the local scene, like there's this almost like a turn against them, like because they, I don't know, succeeded too quickly, succeeded without, well, if they had sold out, then they're selling out. They don't sell out. Well, I don't know how to describe it. Yeah, but there's just people turn on them. You get too popular or successful, people turn on you, and it's.
Yeah. Yeah, it happens in the art world too, I think. Yeah.
I mean, I think that there's things that are real, like oversaturation, but I mean, I think there's also just this sort of jaded.
You know who Fran Lebowitz is?
Oh yeah, yes, yeah.
Okay, so I haven't caught these two interviews, and an interview with her relatively recently.
Yes.
Trashing Andy Warhol.
Right? Oh, okay.
Interview with her 25 years ago. Adoring Andy Warhol.
Yes. Yeah. I think I see clip. Yes. Yeah.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
I mean, and she's supposed to be, quote, an intellectual, I suppose. But it's a bandwagon. It's
that made me think of two things, as always. My mind goes in all those directions. One, an interview, and I think it's still online, but it's harder to find because I don't know if anyone did anything to make it harder to find. But it's an interview that Fran Lebowitz did with a comedian named, I think, Z-Way, and she's a black woman, and it was like at the height of like George Floyd and all that. Right. And Fran Lebowitz was invited basically to talk about feminism, but immediately and rightfully was hit with intersectionality. Like, okay, how did the feminism you came up with treat black women? Do you have a thought on that now 20 years later? And she was blindsided. She got defensive. It is.
She had no answer.
She had no answer except anger and like seething that how dare you? I am an icon. How dare you? And it was fascinating. I mean, and the interviewer just let it. Didn't neither pushed back, neither just sort of just.
But she was being interviewed by a black woman.
Yes.
About feminism.
Yes. And was surprised.
Wouldn't she have thought?
You.
What what am I going to if I was being interviewed
Yeah.
by a younger female artist,
Right.
I would expect her to ask me, why didn't you show more women artists?
Huh. Yeah.
And I actually showed quite a lot. But the
Sure.
point is, it's a valid question
Right.
that I should have been prepared to discuss,
Yeah.
whether
Yep.
defensive, whatever.
Right.
But I shouldn't be blind. You shouldn't be blindsided by that unless you're on an ego ship. Yeah, I mean, really,
And
because
no, and I don't think she anticipated. Well, no, I don't think she anticipated anyone who had done their research at all. I think she just sort of thought people would. I think she's ridden on her name for a long time. And I think, she thought she was just going to get a young person who was just going to adore her for 20 minutes. I don't think and then when she did get confronted with someone who actually knew like specific history,
right.
that was, went to, well, you weren't there. That's sort of, yeah.
Oh. Well, that's precisely why they're asking the question.
Right. No.
Because they weren't there. No,
Yeah.
it's a different, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I could explain to somebody, that as I have done, that let's say in 1965, there were more women graduating from major studio art with major studio art degrees than men.
Right. Huh.
But I never failed to go to somebody's studio if they asked me because they were a woman.
Right.
Why did far fewer women ask me to go to see
Yes.
their work than
Yeah.
men?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they didn't make the jump from whether their parents could afford it or scraped by, the jump from being in a protected college environment, learning how to make art, to being in a $50 a week, no running water, cold water loft studio
Yeah.
in Soho, which the guy's parents didn't care. Well,
Yeah. Right. No. Right. 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 No. Right. Right.
but the women's parents
Yes.
said, no, no
Yeah.
way, you're
Yeah.
staying here. It's absolutely true.
Yeah.
There were fewer women working in studios. They may well have been dealers who were prejudiced. I'm not saying they
Sure.
weren't,
No.
but
Yeah.
I'm saying that the pipeline, the culture, whatever it was slicing the pipeline
Yeah.
at that point, and it was only the toughest, bravest, or whatever. I don't know
Yeah.
the right words to use. Women who made it into their bare
Absolutely.
bones first studios. Um, uh, and once they did, I don't think they had a problem getting dealers to go see
Sure.
their work, but there were far fewer of them. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so I can answer. I know how to answer those questions. Um, but yeah. Okay. Well, I've got to get ready to go to the 3 hour Odyssey. Right.
Okay. Well, that's yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I've got to make it Odyssey.
No, that's yeah.
What's
Let
your
me know.
week like?
My week is I think it's just a regular week. I have yeah. No, I think it's just a regular week. It's the summertime is a little bit, you know,
Low?
yeah.
Low?
People are harder to get a hold of, but there's still. I mean, there's
Yeah.
I have projects and things going on. So
Good.
yeah. All right. Have a yeah. Let
Okay,
me know how the movie is, and have a great
I
week.
will. And
I,
remember, if you want to make a bet, it's 2-1 Spain, 2-1.
okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
All right. All right. I love you.
love you.
Bye.